them are more than pals.
Our show can be a little gay,
But if you're not,
that's okay.
you can listen and have fun either way. Xena, Star Wars, Doctor Who, guests and music and reviews. Game of Thrones, Winona too. We promise there's something for you. She nerds out. We're girls that like nerdy things. Nerdy things.
Hello and welcome to the She Nerds Out podcast. My name is Kat.
My name is Wendy.
And I am Tara. Remember this voice.
Uh-oh.
I don't like where this is going. On today's episode, we have a very special guest, Kyana Teresa, star of The Good Witch, season 7. She's one half of Joey. She plays Zoe, of course. And we got to talk with her for like an hour.
She is delightful.
Tara, what do you think?
Oh, thanks for waiting for me, guys. I think I'm just back here on a delay. So my quick-witted answers are not hitting today. But I also thought she was delightful and a cat person. So that amplifies times 1,000.
What's not to love?
She is a cat person. Instant connection with people who like cats. No offense, cat, but it's all good.
Why would I be?
You like dogs. You're a dog person.
Listen, okay. As I say in the interview, you'll hear it. We'll talk about it on the other side, but I'm a cat person. Okay. Don't. Just because I have dogs, it's unfortunate circumstances as to why I have
That's
dogs.
True.
It's Leah's fault.
Point taken.
100% Leah's fault. So
got it.
Hey, listen, let's
holding it totally against Leah. Mm-hmm.
It may be the reason we get a divorce.
Don't you blame the cats for that.
Hey, let's interview Kyana. What do you think?
Let's go.
Our guest today is not only one half of the now iconic Good Witch ship, Joey. Also, she's an advocate for diversity and representation on screen. Please give a warm snap welcome to Kyana Teresa.
Yay, welcome.
Welcome to Snop. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Of course. And so we kind of wanted to do a deep dive into your Good Witch experience. Okay. So hopefully, I'm sure you took lots of notes during your time on the show.
Absolutely.
And now we know that you've talked in the past about how you got the role of Zoe. You were auditioning for another role, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you find out that they wanted you for this other part?
Well, it was unexpected. I just got a call from my agent and he was like, hey, they loved your audition. And I'm like, cool. But like, what's the but? He's like, well, it's just that they really want you for this other character. I was like, okay, what other character? Well, it's not written yet. I'm like, what? Oh. And they've already started filming. So he's like, yeah, it's going to be in like one of the later blocks. And it's all I knew was that it was going to be a love interest to one of the leads on the show. There was supposed to be a chemistry read. And that never happened. So I didn't have a ton of information. And then I think we waited maybe a month or so. And then we saw the casting go up for Zoe. And he was like, I think this is the one. So we sent in a tape for it. And then I got a call one day saying, hey, you booked it. And I was like, no chemistry read with Kat. And they're like, no, it's yours. Oh my goodness. So it was very unconventional. I'd never had another experience like that in terms of casting. So I'm really glad that I had a good first audition for this other character and that, casting and production saw potential in me for this other character, which obviously has gone on to make such a big impact. And I'm so happy that they kind of had that vision for me and it all worked out. So I'm really happy.
Yeah. At what point did they tell you? Because we listened to another interview, like Kat said, we've been stalking you. So and you also didn't mention, at what point did they say, and especially if there wasn't a chemistry read, hey, this love interest is going to be another woman?
I guess I got it in the first call. They said one of the female leads, and my agent was like, do you feel comfortable with that? And I was like, of course. And
did you realize at the time what a big deal that was for Hallmark, especially?
Yes. Now that you're asking me these questions, now more of it's coming back to me. So also in that phone call with my agent, he was like, so this is a really big deal for the network. And I think that forgot these little details because I think that I tried to forget them because I didn't want to psych myself out.
Right.
You know, when some, you know, there, he's like, oh, it's going to be a huge deal. And everybody's like, there's going to be articles written about it and it's never happened and it's Hallmark history. I was like, all right, please stop. I don't want to hear anymore because it's
Not
going, like, I can't have that in my mind while I'm auditioning. That's like way too much pressure. So now that you're saying it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is all coming back to me. I kind of compartmentalized everything. But yes, he said, you know, it is a big deal for the network. It's never happened before. It's just a BFD. It's a big freaking deal. And yes, be prepared for that. And I was like, okay.
And you were like, yeah, totally cool. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you know, what's meant to be. And then like my audition for Zoe, I didn't like it. I didn't like my audition. It just wasn't like I was coming off of a long day on set. I was tired, but it was like I had a deadline. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do the best I can, send it in, and whatever is meant to be will be. And it was meant to be. So thank God. But it kind of just goes to show you too, like just for any other actors listening, like if the role is meant for you, it's meant for you. And your perspective of perfection is not everyone else's. And perfection isn't real. It doesn't exist. And what you think is good or not could be like amazing to someone else. So
well, I have to jump in here because I listened to your podcast where you talked about the audition process, like you were saying that there's so much more involved than how you read that particular day. And
oh my gosh.
In the very limited casting experience that Tara and I have had for another project, I was listening to that thinking, you're right. Like you may not have, in your mind, you might not have had the best read, but the people auditioning you, they see someone, I want to work with this person. She brings a good energy. She's good. And it's not like, you know, it may not have been what you liked, but they saw enough of what they liked and the person that thought this is going to be a great addition as a person and for this part. And she'll be fine. Like, even if there's things we might change, this is a person we want to work with. So it sounds like even though you weren't necessarily happy with what you sent, they already like, no, this girl's great. She'll be wonderful.
And exactly. And
we
like, you don't know what they're looking for.
Right.
It's you didn't do well in your version of what you think it should look like. But also, and I found this a lot, is the character that you have in your audition is usually not the character that you end up playing on screen. There's so much more information that you get and character building that you get, because when you get an audition, you don't get like a full script normally. You just get 2 scenes and they're like, okay, create your character and show us what you think, show us what you have. And you do that. And then, you know, you talk to the production crew. I got a call from Darren, the showrunner, when I was cast, and we kind of had a whole deep dive about the character and the vision for the couple and, you know, the audience listening and how they may or may not absorb that. And there's just so many changes that happen. So you really just have to like do it, let it go. I never remember my auditions. Like, so my agent will call me and he'll be like, so Kyana, remember that audition you did for this character, this show, this whatever? I'm like, no. Like, sorry. And I have to go back into my email and be like, oh yeah, I do remember that. Because I truly like do it. And I'm like, it's gone, it's done until I need to pick it back up again.
That's gonna be fun though.
Just dwell.
Yeah, like you forget it, and then all of a sudden, randomly, your agent calls and say, "Hey, you got this part." You're like, "I don't even remember auditioning, but great, thank you." And I'm glad I did well because I don't remember it. But it's like a fun little surprise as opposed to just like sitting by the phone thinking, "Am I gonna get it? Am I gonna get it?"
Exactly. It ages me. It ages you to worry like that. So you just do your best and then you move on.
Kyana, do you remember what scene or scenes you used for that audition?
Yeah. I think there was 2. The one I can remember right now was the saving Joy from the wall, which was an interesting one because obviously I didn't have another person in the scene with me. So you're doing this kind of like physical action of saving a person and maneuvering their arm, which is not there. So a lot of, you know, fake acting. I should find out if I can post my audition scene. I probably
that would be fun
could, since it's out, but I think that, I'll find out, but that would be really cool. And there must have been I think it was the business card scene where she's like, give me a call when you're ready. I think that was it. I'd have to like go back into the archives. 2 very iconic scenes.
Right. They started you off quick. Well, you mentioned you didn't have any chemistry readings with Kat. Like, what was your
No.
first meeting? Like, was it like a table read, or did you guys get together beforehand? Or
No, so Good Witch actually doesn't, I mean, as far as I know, doesn't have table reads.
Oh, okay.
It could have been
Really?
different because we were filming like in 2020, 2021.
Right.
So, but as I think that
Mhm.
I've heard just from other casts, I don't think they normally do, but Kat actually, I got an email from her maybe a week after I got the call, and she was like, "Hi Kyana, my name's Kat, and I'm like, I'm gonna be playing your, alongside you with Joy, and I'm so excited to have you on board, and let's meet up for a coffee and get to know each other and talk about our story and our characters." And that was so special for me because that's never happened to me. I've never had another actor reach out to me personally prior to shooting and wanting to, take the time to sit down and prepare these characters. And so that was really special. And I think also I think that Kat knew, because she was kind of the newcomer last season, that I would now be the newcomer coming in. And so I think she was very much like, come, let's like form an alliance, form like a bond beforehand. So when you come in, you have some friendly faces that you have already like established a rapport with. And I really appreciated that, because it can sometimes be hard being the new kid.
Oh, I'm sure. That's got to be intimidating. And a show that's like 6 seasons in, or 7 seasons.
So everybody has known each other for years, and you're just like, hi. just coming to shake
like
everything up in Middleton. Don't mind me.
Yeah. The storyline. Yeah, it's no big deal. It's only the first time Hallmark's done it, but hey, here I am. Let's do it.
So I have to ask, during this conversation, did Kat at any point say, "Hey, look, I've been on this other show called Winona Earp, and let me tell you about that fan base," and give you any pointers as far as what might, come to be with your ship, or maybe you guys weren't thinking that much about it, or you didn't want to, again, psych yourself out about it. But, how did she prepare you in any way of, what might happen
What
when
might transpire.
You guys got together?
Not really in terms of, we didn't really talk about anything in terms of expectations from the fan base. We talked more about, we didn't talk about the reaction from the fan base, but we talked about the expectations that they had from her. And so why it was so important that we did this with a lot of intention and a lot of thought. So she wasn't like, oh, they're really passionate fans and they're going to love you and you're going to, blow up and all of these things. It wasn't that. It was very much, hey, I'm coming off of the show. Very loyal fan base. They've, been following me for years. I don't want to let them down. Especially if there's going to be a new relationship after this other iconic relationship that I've played on this show. It can be sometimes like a bit of a transition to kind of shift gears and see your favorite actress now with somebody else, and you're not used to that, right? So it's like we need to get the audience involved and as invested in this relationship as possible, because we want them to be on board with it and we want them to be on our side. And we want to do like the representation correctly, and we don't want it to be surface level, and we don't want anything to be treated differently than any other couple on the show. So it was very much taking it from our responsibility as actors for the community that she has, created and built around her.
That's awesome. And you guys really did such a great job of the representation. And like you said, like any other couple on the show, it was perfect in that regard, that it was the same level of, you guys, spoiler alert, if anyone's not caught up, you didn't kiss till the very last scene, almost, of the very last episode. But that's normal for a Hallmark show to kind of build that up.
Yes.
So, and it's not, if you've seen Winona Earp, it's definitely not season 4, episode 2 level.
Yeah.
So it's, so it felt completely natural within the context of the show.
Absolutely.
And it was really fun to watch. And I found myself yelling at the screen a few times, like, "Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's nice." Like they really went with it. And I really appreciated that. So, well, and I have questions about some of those moments later on.
Of course.
But
that was was a very hard secret to keep, by the way, with like the kiss coming at the end, because everyone was like, if they don't kiss, I'm gonna be so mad. We're gonna riot. We're gonna blah blah blah. And I was just like, hey, you guys are gonna like the finale. That's all I can say. I did
like it. Yeah, I did see an article where it's like, y'all should watch the finale. It's you really gotta like it, but you can't say why. But just wink. Just trust me.
Yeah. There are definitely some bets going around, like, are they gonna allow it to happen? Is it gonna happen? It has to happen, right? But you still didn't know. Oh, it was like watching the end of the Super Bowl or something. And you just
I know. I mean, you have to. It just makes it so much juicier if you make them wait.
Yeah.
It's so much more satisfying. And like, if there wasn't a kiss,
and
like,
I cheered.
I cried. Oh, I sobbed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I hadn't seen it either. I didn't see any of it until like on screen with everybody else on Sunday. And I did get the screeners ahead of time, but I like refused to watch. And normally I would get the episode a few hours before airing, maybe a day before. But for some reason, for the finale, the PR person sent it to me a week early. And I was like, I sent her this email. I was like, how dare you? I can't have this in my inbox sitting there for a week and not watch it. But I couldn't. I had to watch it with the fans. And she was like, okay, delete it. I'm going to send it to you again on the day. Because I just don't have that self-control. I was like, I'm going to watch it. So you're going to have to send it to me again.
Did you follow along on social media at all to see the reactions when it happened?
Yeah, I mean, I live tweeted every Sunday.
Oh, that's right.
So much fun. It was my first time live tweeting, and I got like a crash course right away on the ground, and it was hilarious. I miss it so much.
See, I love that actors live tweet, but at the same time, when shows I'm watching, they're live tweeting. It's just that I just hate the juggle. Like, I'm watching the tweets, but I'm watching the show. Now I'm missing something in the show. Now I'm missing a tweet. But I love it. I love that it is an art. It really is. Especially if and I guess if you're watching it for the first time that night, you're having to juggle it all too. But I love that. I love it when you guys do that.
Thank you. I love it too. And people think that, I mean, not for our show. Like, some people think that we're like contracted to do it. It's not. Like, we just do it out of our personal time. We just do it for the fans and for the connection. It's great.
Well, I imagine it's fun for you guys too to see that reaction and see, it's like, it's kind of like not theater. You get that instant reaction that you don't normally get with television, but now, or film, but now you can watch along with them. And
and the interaction was so great because people were baking things. They were like, okay, this week we're baking like these muffins, or we're making these donuts, or like people were invested. Okay, we're gonna have like birthday cake ice cream this week. And so it really felt like a little family that you're just checking in every Sunday. You're watching your favorite shows together. And I think that hopefully it was a really good experience for people who are like alone during this pandemic, right? And just having something to look forward to every week and being able to connect with other, fans who have something in common.
It's a big deal.
Socializing is so important right now.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I'll go ahead and I'll bring up a little piece of fashion that we're both wearing, Kyana and myself. This is Tara, for anyone wondering. We have our very fancy bow ties on. We look much fancier than the other two riffraff here that just,
we won't
didn't dress up for the occasion. Yeah. But
So terrible.
The bow tie speaking of live tweeting, became such a huge thing that it had its own hashtag, the Bowtie Brigade. I remember there was like a mashup of the pictures of all the fans that had bow ties on. And what did that mean to you? Or what were your feelings when that took off?
I was floored. I think that was the first time that I saw the power of fans coming together and really going out of their way and representing. And it went even just beyond the bow ties. Like, some people did a full dress up with like collared shirt and like a whole suit and taking pictures. And I was like, this is so cool. This is so cool that we're all doing this together. It was just really exciting. And I felt I was very like weepy most of the day as like the pictures were coming in and I was getting tagged, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And everybody looks so beautiful and they're doing this for us and together. And I felt the love. It was very, very special.
So I want to take us back for a second.
Yeah.
You had said something. You said that, I think you said Darren was the showrunner on Good Witch. You said he called you when you got the part to discuss the vision what his vision for the couple was. Can you kind of remember any specifics from that phone call and what he was pitching to you? How close did that end up coming across on screen?
Pretty close. It was pretty accurate. He was very open to collaboration, and he was like, if you have any ideas, if you have any concerns, if you have anything, let me know. Like, we're working on this together. He was like, this storyline is close to my heart. I'm really excited for it. We tried to do it in a previous season. We didn't get the green light. So now it's finally happening. And here's what we want. And he kind of laid it out. He was like, Good Witch is a show about love. It's a show about romance, relationships, friendship, all of these things. And Joey is no different, right? The relationship isn't going to be treated any differently. You're not going to have worry about having friction with any of the other Middletonians, if they're, you know what I mean? There's not going to be a big coming out story. It's not going to be about the sexuality of these characters. It's about the connection between them and how that naturally just comes about. You just have this chemistry and you have this spark, and we see where it goes. And I think all of us were very delicate with it, and just having the nuances and not not forcing it. And what I liked about that too was, which I think that we did well, was it wasn't just they meet, they have hard eyes for each other, they go on dates and then they kiss and it's happily ever after. There were some bumps in the road, some serious ones that again can happen with any couple. So I like to see that we had a very natural progression towards happily ever after, if you will. And then I was, I kind of expressed some of my concerns. I'm like, so tell me more about the audience of Good Witch, and what's the demographic here? Who did they vote for in the last presidential election?
Valid question.
Valid questions. And he was like, well, it's a lot of middle America, Bible Belt. So, we all know who they voted for. And I'm like, great. I love that for me. So I kind of, I went into it and I was like, half of America's going to love me. Half of America's going to hate me. And I'm okay with that. And
you're in good company of the half that hates you. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Proud member, proud to be here. So, I mean, that was really, it was very surreal kind of going into it, knowing, I think that a lot of times you take a role or you're going onto a show and you don't know how anything's sometimes shows pop off and then they create their own kind of fan base and audience, and you just don't know what to expect. Some shows you go in and it's going to be a big deal. This one I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to react. And I think we had a whole range of reactions, and I just had to be okay with that. And I had to do a lot of, personal preparation before the episodes came out.
One thing I liked about what they did, which I think sometimes it can be almost as important as making sure the actual couple involved, that their relationship is true and it's written from a good, honest perspective, but how they write all the other characters around them. You had Joy going to family saying, they just start, so what's up with Zoe? How's it going? Or giving her advice. And it's none of them batted an eye. None of them were like, oh, wait, it's a woman. Let's talk about this. There was nothing. It was just cool. She met Zoe. Awesome. Here's some advice. Don't screw it up, Joy. That kind of whatever. But just writing the reactions of everyone around them. They didn't even have that one token character to be the voice of dissent and then to get educated. It was just cool, great. It's part of our family now. So
if only real life could always be so smooth.
Yeah, wasn't it? If only Hallmark, a Hallmark world. A new embracing Hallmark world, more accepting Hallmark world. But it was, I like that they played it that way, that there was just no one batted an eye at it at all.
No one was faced. And I did ask him, I was like, is there going to be any thing? Is anybody going to have an issue? And he was like, nope, not a single person. I was like,
Wow.
okay, love
Sweet.
it.
Awesome.
Good for them. Good for them.
So knowing that y'all were going all in, I have to bring up a few specific parts and specific lines that caught the fans' attentions, maybe more than others. So, and I just, from a behind the scenes perspective, want to know if there isn't any extra conversation between you and Kat before delivering these lines, or how they were going to be delivered, or if you just went with it. But for instance, the bow tie scene, and talking about Bowtie the squirrel, painting, I can paint your canoe, things like the faucet scene where you say, you got this faucet and Joy says, hey, I could put it in for you. And it's very, to me, I don't know, maybe I just read too much into it, but it was great.
I'm like blushing. None of that. We had no conversations about it. Nobody, I don't think either of us, or at least to my knowledge, anybody that was employed by Goodwood had any thoughts about this. And it literally wasn't until it came on the air and all of the Earpers were like losing their minds. And I'm just like, what's going on? And they're like,
oh, that's so adorable.
Put it in for you. And I was like, oh no. I think that it's so funny. I think that Middleton and Goodwitch and Hallmark is so family friendly and so G-rated that when you're in it, like that's kind of just the mode that you're in. Like my mind never went there even once, like quite honestly. And so seeing like the reactions from people, I was just like, oh my God, I never thought about it that way. So absolutely not. I would be totally honest with you if we didn't bat an eye once.
That's insane.
Maybe I'm just so innocent.
It was appreciated still.
Nothing.
I feel like this is a question for the writers.
You know what? That is I would love to hear some more BTS of the writers' room there, because it didn't occur to me until it occurred to everyone else. And I was like, oh my God, what have we done? Sent them into a tailspin.
So speaking of scripts and the writing, did you and Kat have did it seem like there was an understanding that if there was something in the script that didn't seem authentic to both of you or either of you, that you kind of had this veto power? Was that expressed to you guys at all?
Yes. I don't think expressly from the show, but I know like in my first meeting with Kat, she had said, I'm very comfortable if there's an issue. I'm very comfortable talking to the writers, like she has a relationship with one of the executive producers. She's like, I'm happy to speak up. Because she had been kind of a part of this storyline before I was even cast, right? Because it was a conversation that had actually happened for season 6 that didn't end up happening. So I think that she had probably had more conversations behind the scenes with creating this relationship and saying, hey, we want it to be X, Y, and Z. We don't want it to be X, Y, and Z. And I will like flag any issues that come up. So I think that I felt comfortable and she felt comfortable raising any flags if there were that, which a lot of times like actors don't feel comfortable doing that. And I very much did. I appreciated the phone call from Darren, which I hadn't ever really had with any other projects that I'd worked on either. I've never had a showrunner call me and say, hey, let's talk about your character. So it did feel to me like a very collaborative process. And there wasn't anything that we flagged. But, we had conversations, a lot of, okay, it seems like how does this get resolved? We were a little bit concerned about the ups and downs and how fast the relationship was kind of seeming to move. And it's hard when everything's just on paper. But we're like, oh, they're getting pretty intense pretty fast. They're, telling each other our traumas and our backstories and all of these things like very quickly. They haven't even had a first date yet, and I'm talking about my like dead ex-girlfriend. And then, you know, there was a lot of like little misunderstandings and stuff between us, and I was like, is this realistic? Is this grounded in reality? So we had a lot of conversations about that, but I think it all came out really beautifully, I think.
Do you know when they found out for sure, when you guys all found out that the show wouldn't be coming back? Was any of that like accelerating the relationship a little because they knew that it was all going to have to play out in the end of the season? Or did they think maybe at the beginning there you were going to be able to come back for another season? Or did they already know it was going to be ending?
Okay, so no, I don't think anybody knew, quite honestly. If somebody at the top knew about the relationship and like crafted the season in a specific way for it, I'm not privy to that. I don't think any of the cast or anything are privy to that. We found out the same day that everyone else did.
Oh wow.
I got a call from Kat like a few hours before it went public. That the like Hallmark PR was going to be, she was like, hey, I'm calling you to let you know because I don't want you to find out from the internet. And so it was like a surprise to everyone else. I'm sure Catherine probably knew, like she's an executive producer as well, but I was kind of hearing different things in the prior months. So I heard, oh, they're coming back. And then, oh, they're not coming back and they're like taking down the set. And then, oh, no, they're not doing that anymore. There's talks of coming back. They're talking about renewing contracts, blah, 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 blah. So everything was really on the fence. So we had no idea. I think that when we were actually filming, you're never guaranteed a next season, right? For me, I felt like, I think for most of us, we were like, if this is the last season, I think that everything comes to a really nice, natural conclusion. You know, everybody's storyline got wrapped up really nicely. And then everybody kind of jetted off to other countries at the end. And it was joy at Grey House. So it felt to me like if this was the last season, I think it's a good way to end on. But we did film an alternate ending, which did leave like a, you know, an open story for if there was a season 8. So obviously,
Can you tell
I guess
us what that is? You can say.
Well, I'll say that there was a new visitor to Grey House.
Oh.
There was a new visitor that came to Grey House that maybe was not a good guy.
Oh,
okay, cool.
So are you saying that in season 8 that Zoe does not move in with Joy and do the whole U-Haul thing? Because that was what I was hoping, that they just move in. It's true. No.
It feels like, I mean, Joy would have been running Grey House at that point, at least temporarily. But like Zoe has her own house. She like bought a house in Middleton and has unpacked and everything. So I feel like if anything, it would have made more sense for if Joy was not running Grey House, for Joy to move in with Zoe, because Joy doesn't have a house or a home. She's like renting a room in Grey House. She's like a tenant. So I think it would make more sense for her to move in with me. So I feel like we probably would have had separate homes in my mind.
Because you got that canoe.
Fair enough.
Where am I going to put the canoe? Exactly.
Right. Good point.
I need a big garage. Oh no.
It's fine. We're gonna move past that. Okay, so let's get into some more specific scenes. And we already talked about the bow tie moment. Is there anything else that you remember from that scene or the script or anything that comes to mind that's kind of a fun memory or like you guys had talked about or anything like that?
No, I mean, I thought that it was really interesting that, you know, this was a really big scene and it was like the first one that Kat and I ever shot together. And it was
such your first scene.
Yeah. That was like our first. So that was actually, I think that was episode 4, I think. And it was like my second episode after Zoe was introduced episode 3. Bow tie moment was episode 4, and we shot out of order. So yeah, our first scene that we ever shot together was the bow tie moment and all the stuff in the garage. Which was, it was interesting because it was kind of intimate. It was, sharing stories about grief and growing up and all of these things. And so we had to get really personal. And yeah, so I was very grateful that, Kat and I had a coffee date before and I wasn't like speaking to a stranger. Because it's just a lot easier to access that vulnerability inside you when you have somebody who you already trust. So I thought that was really interesting. And so I look back and I'm like, oh, we're really good actors. We really sold that because we had no prep for that. And, you don't get your schedule until pretty soon before. And I'm like, okay, we're just going right in for it. Cool. Yeah.
Acting's fun. They just throw you into anything.
So fun.
All right, here's this incredibly vulnerable moment. You haven't actually filmed meeting yet, but you've met. Here's what's happened. Go.
Yeah. So it's interesting because then in your mind, you have to keep in mind like all of this backstory of what's already happened in the script. Where are we at emotionally? Yeah. And keeping all that in mind and then having to switch back to, okay, now we're meeting for the first time. I haven't told you about my dead ex-girlfriend. You haven't told me about your dead mom yet. There's no bow tie. There's no squirrel. Hi, it's all business. Hey, what's your name, date,
Yeah,
birthday, all of these things.
How'd you get that arm in the wall or whatever that was? Yeah.
Yeah. Are you good? Or is this the career that you feel confident about this?
Okay, same question. The first date, that scene, was there anything, what was the prep like? What comes to mind?
That was so fun. I loved the restaurant scene. I loved when we shut down the restaurant and we were just so into it and not realizing that that everyone had left and the waitress is like, excuse me, I need to go home. Can you get out? I thought it was really cool. I like that we did 3 dates in one, which is a little bit, unconventional for a first date. And I think that it speaks well to the couple. I think that they're fun and they're a little bit spontaneous. We finished up our scheduled date at the restaurant and then she's like, want to go to a rock concert? I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. And then we go and have ice cream and it's a lot of going with the flow. And I think that really nicely reflects their relationship and how it came to be. It was kind of like, hey, we're both at where we're at. Let's see where it goes. But there was no forcing. There was no playing games or anything like that. It was just like, hey, I like you. You're cool. I like hanging out with you. Do you want to keep doing that? And like, we don't want this night to end. We're having a good time. What else can we do? I love dates like that. I've been on dates like that and they're really special.
And you guys, I think at the end of that scene, you're walking with the ice cream. You guys hold hands in that scene, right? Is that scripted?
Yes. That was a cute one. It was a very cold night though, I must say. Shooting exteriors in the winter. You can't ever wear warm winter jackets because they're not cute. They don't look good for camera. So you have to wear thin, stylish jackets and just look warm. I was like, we were both padded up, like our entire bodies were covered in these like heat packs. And then we have a warm-up band. So as soon as they yelled cut, we like run to the band. Actually, a memory that just came to me was we would have Mark, who is, I don't know if you guys know Magic Mark.
Oh, sure.
Of course. From the show, he would go get us our snacks from Kraft. So we just had like bags full of cheese and crackers and cookies and all of these things. So we would run to the warm-up band, stuff our faces, and then they're like, you have to go back. And we're like, oh, okay. So we leave, shoot another scene, and then come back and stuff our faces again.
How cold was it? How cold does it get there? Like 30s? 20s?
Well, we're in Celsius here, so
that's true.
It gets very cold.
It was below 0.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like definitely like below freezing temperatures.
Oh my gosh. No wonder all the heating pads and the.
And you were eating ice cream.
And we were eating ice cream. And it didn't even taste good. I didn't like it.
Oh no! What do you mean? Like it wasn't a good flavor?
I don't like birthday cake ice cream.
Oh, that's what it was. Was it like a movie? It wasn't like movie ice
No.
cream where it's like mashed potatoes. It was really ice cream. You
It
just
was
didn't
really
like it.
ice cream, and it was
Okay.
like kind of drip. It was
They use mashed potatoes? I did not know.
Sometimes.
yeah,
So it doesn't
very
melt.
convincing.
So it won't melt. Very smart.
Mhm.
There you go. How about the kiss? The scene with the kiss. I'm sure. I mean, it must have been such a big deal, such a build up.
I was so nervous. I was so nervous. I was in my trailer, like pacing back and forth. I'm like, okay, no big deal. Except it's a really big deal. And there's going to be pictures of this all over the internet. And there's going to be articles
Forever.
written about it. And I'm just about to go make history. And I'm fine.
Uh-huh,
I'm totally fine. I'm not freaking out at all. This isn't like a pivotal moment in my career. And I thank God that I think Zoe also was a little bit nervous, as kind of most people are before a first kiss. So I just channeled that, and I was like, I'm doing this for the first time along with Zoe. So Zoe and I were in it together. And it's interesting too. So because you don't rehearse kisses, right? That's not a thing.
Yeah.
So when we're kissing for the first time, and you're seeing
That's
it
so weird.
yeah.
I get it though. Like
That must
the
be
not
so weird.
rehearsing. Yeah.
I mean, for like professionalism, like you
Right.
just don't need to be kissing for a rehearsal. Also
No.
COVID and everything like that. Actually, I have a very funny video that I do need to post at some point, and it's of us chugging mouthwash before the kiss. So they had us prepped, like we came in the morning, they're like, okay, so they were very much like, okay, so today's the kiss. And I'm like,
No pressure.
I'm already nervous. Okay, so everybody, like, today's the day. And it was the last day of shooting. They saved it till the last scene of the day. So they were really just my anxiety
Drawing it out.
from top of the day, totally drawn out. They said, okay, so before the kiss, we're gonna have you do a mouthwash rinse. You're gonna
gosh.
kiss, and then you're gonna do another mouthwash rinse, and every time in between. Also, we've left Listerine in your trailer, so you have your own personal one, but also we're gonna have some for you on set. And they were just very much like, we're COVID safe. It's gonna be fine.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a funny video of us like doing this, and then having to spit in a cup that somebody else is holding.
Oh my goodness.
Was awful. It was Mark. He was holding it.
Amazing.
I was like, Mark, I'm so sorry. As I like
Poor
spit
Mark.
in-
So you're saying it was very romantic. The whole
Oh my
thing was
gosh.
very
It took
romantic.
all of the romance out of it. Very fresh, very minty kiss. If anyone was wondering. And then at a certain point, we were like, can we stop with the mouthwash in between? Like, if we're clean. Like, that's enough,
Right.
please. Can we just
Like I have dry mouth at
can
this
we
point.
just do this? Yeah, so it was obviously a big moment. My anxiety was at its peak. And
Oh, no.
also the thing is that everybody's watching, like in the room, which is not a natural thing that happens in real life.
Mhm.
You have a camera person who's right here and all of the crew watching, and you're just like, I'm trying to have a private moment here with my scene partner, and I don't appreciate the eyes. I think, yeah. So when you guys see the kiss, I mean, we obviously did multiple takes of it, but that was the first time for both of us. So I think that's cool. I think that's kind of special.
Mhm.
That is nice.
Yeah.
It adds a little realistic,
Like authenticity to it.
Yeah, the fact that
Yeah.
this really is the first kiss. Of course, we might see the fifth take of the first kiss, but still, it's the first time.
First one, best one, I think. I hope
True.
it was. I
True.
hope it was the first one. Let's say it was.
We're going with it. What about the dance scene?
At the wedding or before the kiss?
Before the kiss. Wasn't that was like that was the first time you guys danced, right?
We did like slow dancing at the wedding, which was very magical. Felt like we were like Cinderella at a ball. And then, yeah, we had to do the salsa dancing, which was my big gesture of, hey, I learned how to salsa dance for you. And I think that also added to the nerves for the day because Kat does not know how to salsa dance. I do know how to salsa dance, but I don't know how to lead because I wouldn't lead normally. So
Sure.
I had to kind of switch up how I would normally dance and be like, okay, wait, everything was kind of mirrored a little bit. So we were both out of our element. And we were just practicing all day. We're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, go. And I was like, it doesn't have to look perfect for camera because Zoe is a beginner. And as long as I can lead you, you should be fine. You just need to like learn how to follow, just like follow my cues. So there was a lot of prep that had to go into that day. And we're watching YouTube videos, and one of the makeup artists, she's like a professional dancer, so she was helping us out. And yeah, there's a lot of prep and planning that had to go into that moment. So I hope everybody really appreciated it. God damn it.
Well, it looked great. It sounds like from everything you're talking about with Magic Mike and the makeup person getting involved with the dance, it sounded like a fun set to be on. Like I assume most of them had been with the show for a good part of its run, if not the whole thing. But it sounded like a very family set. Like everybody really got along.
Definitely. Yeah, I think most people, some people had been on it from the very beginning, even from the movies. And some people had been, 2 or 3 seasons deep, but it did feel absolutely like a family. It was really chill, which I loved. I think that they were always shooting in a really good rhythm. Like I say, I've said like before, they're a well-oiled machine. And so you didn't ever feel rushed or stressed. Everybody was just like doing their thing. You had Mark doing magic tricks in between scenes, and the showrunners, the producers come and check in, and we just hang out. John Eskin, as our executive producer, who like helped create Good Witch, he would come into the makeup trailer every morning and greet us and be like, hey, what's going on, and check in with us. And I've never had that before. I've never been able to have like casual conversation with the executive producer of a show. Normally they're like in an office or behind the camera. You just don't have a lot of FaceTime with them. And so it was really great. I felt like I was part of like a really great, solid family unit. And I only wish that we could have had more seasons. Also seasons out of COVID, because I'm sure it would have been even more fun if we didn't have all these restrictions on us as well.
Well, Kyana, we're going to get to a very important topic in just one second, but I have one more follow-up question about your Good Witch characters with Halloween coming up. What would your couple's costume have been?
I think that we would have dressed up as each other. So Joy would have been a firefighter and I would have been a witch.
That would have been adorable.
I think that's the only answer.
Yeah. A witch and a firefighter.
Yeah. A nice little nod.
Well, here's a very important discussion that we need to have. You have cats. You have an Instagram for your cats. I have multiple cats. Tara has cats. I saw that. I'm like, oh, I like this girl already. She has cats and a page for them. Tinkerbell and Simba. They look adorable.
First of all, you made me so nervous with this question. Of course. Please don't do this to me. You're like, I have a really important question. But first this. I'm like, no, please, no.
But no, yeah.
I am cat obsessed.
Love it.
I wasn't always a cat lover. I say 1.5 cats growing up. I had one cat that we had for quite a long time. We had another cat that we had for a short time because my mom was allergic. But I've always had dogs growing up, and I was always like, oh, cats, I don't know, they're assholes, they're whatever, that rhetoric that people say, which is totally untrue.
Yep.
And how I got these cats was so my mom's from a little island in the Caribbean next to St. Kitts. It's called Nevis. And that's where my grandparents lived. And my husband and he wasn't my husband at the time, but we went down to visit. And my grandmother has this cat who's not a pet cat because they don't really have pets there. It's like a wild cat, but she feeds it. And it had a litter of kittens. And so we got there and there was this cardboard box with like 5 newborn kittens in there. And my heart melted. And I was like, oh my God, I love them. And I need to be their mother. And I was like, oh, we really it would be so cool if we got a cat. Like these are, whatever. They're just so cute. Nobody doesn't like kittens. We got home and literally that week, a friend of mine said, hey, my cat just had a litter of kittens. Does anyone want a kitten? And I was like, I'll take one. One. There was 3 cats. There was a black one, an orange one, Simba, and like a multicolored one, which is Tinkerbell. And I had to choose between Tinkerbell or Simba. And I couldn't choose. So I called my husband and I was like, hey, what do we think about 2 cats? And he's like, what? I was like, it's his and hers. It'll be so cute. They're brother and sister. We don't want them to be alone. We don't want to separate family like that. We're not those people. And he was like, okay, sure. Because how do you choose between kittens? I don't know.
You can't.
That's an impossible choice.
No.
So I brought home 2. It was quite a transition. I don't think my husband was like, if I had known how much work in particular Simba would be, would not have had all of these, would not have had like a second cat. But now they're family and we love and are obsessed with them and they're best friends. They're very cute together. And I'm happy we have 2. It was, I always say everything's meant to be.
Well, as someone who's worked in cat rescue for a lot of years, we always encourage people to take 2 kittens just because it is better. It's better for them. It's better for their development. They have a buddy. So
good to know. So I made the right choice.
You totally made the right choice. Totally. I'm all on board with that. But yeah, so we are now following the what was it? The Real House Cats of Toronto.
That's amazing.
Adorable videos and pictures. And yeah, Simba does look like a little crazy boy in some of these pictures. So he needs a sister.
Yeah, he's special. He's special. He's very lucky. He's so cute.
Well, another thing from your Instagram that we have to bring up, we noticed there's a picture of you surrounded by snacks and that were sent. Let me tell you though, the woman who sent you those snacks is a friend of ours, Noe. From Frito-Lay. I saw that. I saw the snacks. I'm like, wow, that looks like something Noe would have done. And I looked down. I'm like, oh my God, it was Noe. She brought us the same thing. She's like, oh, I brought y'all some little bags of snacks for you guys to take home when we went to this event together. They were giant sacks of like.
Our definition of little is not.
Yes.
Our definition of little.
No,
but it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Big boxes, like big boxes. And I picked them up and they weighed nothing, right? Because it was full of chips. And I was like confused. And also all 3 of them were from the same person. And I was like, hold on, what is happening? What is this? And I opened these up and I'm just like, oh my God. And my dad was with me when I like opened, he's like, who sent you these? And I'm like, I don't know yet. I haven't found the card yet in these 3 boxes. And I've whittled it down to 1 box.
Nice.
I've been working through them. I've been gifting a lot. Anytime someone comes over, I'm like, hi, would you like some snacks? I have many.
I have all the snacks.
Because there's multiples and like some of them we do have in Canada. So I'm like, I'll keep the special ones. Yeah, so that was, and then even in the card she was like, I didn't send everything I wanted to. There's so much more that I like wasn't able to send, so like you just let me know and I will like pull the plug and I will send the rest. And I was like, oh my God, it's gonna take me 10 years to get through this. It's amazing.
Oh, it was a lot. And I don't know, you probably went a different route, but I know with mine, there was a mix of healthy and unhealthy. I still have some of the healthy ones in my pantry, but I started probably with the least healthy option that she sent. And I just worked my way down to the most healthy. So, which I'm still getting through.
The healthy ones, I did have some healthy ones and they were like my favorite.
Oh,
like which ones? Which ones were your favorites?
Brand, I think I have maybe it in my cupboard, but it was called like Off the Beaten Path. That can't be right. That can't be what it's called.
Maybe.
Off the path, on the path. But it was like these kind of rice, circular rice chips with like sweet potato and beets. And
I didn't get those. I didn't get those.
Very good. Very good. So I'm very appreciative to anyone who sends me snacks because I am a total snack monster. And this was like the best accident that could have happened to me. Was starting this trend.
Off the Eaten Path is the name. Off the Eaten.
Ooh. That does make more sense.
Wordplay. I like it.
You're
highly
very
recommend. Not sponsors.
No, but thank you, Noe, for the snacks you've gifted to all of us because they are delicious.
Yes.
We are all well fed.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
It took some effort, but I did get through all the things. And I'm happy I did.
300 pounds later, we're here.
Oh, no joke. I probably did because I will not turn down chips at all, ever.
I think it's illegal actually. So
Oh, good. I'm not breaking the law then. So you have a podcast that I've listened to some episodes of. I skipped the how to file your taxes if you're an actor because I don't need to know that. But
Probably not relevant.
But I will say I love the tiny percentage of dabbling in acting or any of the business that I've had in the past, or the acting classes where I was talked to by the how to approach the business, the auditions. I love what you bring to that as a career, as a perspective. Like you were saying earlier, go to an audition, forget about it, go on with your life. You have no control over what. You may be the best one that walked in the room, but you're the casting director of their ex-girlfriend. So you're never going to get the part. You just have no control. That's what I was always remembering. And it's just your story of how you got into the business, about you kind of thought about it, but you didn't really, actors invest their time and their effort and their training and all this. But so you were a manager of, I think it was a retail store, did some modeling, and then you finally made that decision. I'm not living the life I want to live. I'm not happy. I'm not being able to do the things I want to pursue. So even though people might not think it's the best career decision, I'm just going to dive in and give it a shot. So
a little reckless.
You know what, though? The best things come from being reckless. And like you said, and I completely agree, things they're meant to be, they're going to be meant to be, and they're going to happen. But you're never going to know. It's better than not trying it.
You never know. Well, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I'm very passionate about following your dreams, following your goals. I think I just meet so many people, and listen, not everybody is in a position that they can quit their job and be like, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be an artist. Right. That works out for a small percentage of people. Right. And that's I'm not advocating for that necessarily, but whatever you can do, whatever steps that you can take, I think that the majority of things that hold people back from pursuing what they want, a lot of it is up here. It's in the mind. It's things that we're telling ourselves is stopping us, but actually isn't. It's just kind of a perspective shift. Obviously, there's physical, real world barriers into that, and that's kind of a different conversation. But I think, as with most anything, it's your approach to it and your perspective, and how committed are you to making this happen? Or do you want to live a life of, well, I wanted to do this, but it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't the practical choice. It's for somebody else, but you don't know unless you try, right? You can try and fail and be like, you know what? I tried that, wasn't for me. I'm going to move on, but at least try. Don't knock yourself out before you've even gotten the chance to start. I think everybody owes it to themselves to at least, just follow your dreams.
Right. And it may not be acting. It might be starting a llama farm somewhere, but
it might be writing a book. It might be
write a book.
Anything. But life is short. And I think that we just need to do the things that make us happy. And it doesn't even need to be career. It doesn't need to be a career thing. You might have a job that you don't really care about, but it pays the bills and it allows you to live a life that makes you happy. Maybe you love to travel, right? You don't want traveling to be your job, but you can have a job that pays for your vacations and pays for you to go see different countries and cities and whatever. Just find your thing that you love and do everything you can to make it happen.
Well, it's the intuitive actor. I'm right with that name, right? The intuitive actor. And it's good. It's good advice as far as the mental side. And like I said, I didn't listen to the tax preparation podcast part because that's when you're making money as an actor, and probably good advice to know. But it's good. I like the perspective that you come at this business with, and
thank you.
What you're sharing with other actors that could hear it, starting out, be good advice. But
it's a tough industry, so you gotta be your own biggest supporter and your own biggest believer, because otherwise it's gonna chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah. And I liked your advice too about taking jobs that you feel like, you had that one about not taking a job that didn't feel right. And don't, of course, that's if you're in a position to be able to say no to the income. But at some point, I think actors start off and you have to take almost any part. You want to get yourself on a reel, you want to get experience, you want to get money, all the things. And then making that transition to I don't have to take every part now. I can be a little choosy and take parts that actually are good for where I am right now.
Yeah. And that you feel comfortable with. Yeah. You want to feel like you have some semblance of control around your job and your life, if you're like, well, I guess I just have to go wherever
Right.
they tell me to go, like that doesn't feel like freedom to me. That doesn't feel fun. I get you have to pay your dues. But yeah, once you can kind of say, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. That's not what I want to do anymore, then do it.
Yeah.
It's so freeing.
Yeah, that's it. And it's good to be able to get to that place where you feel like you can say that. Okay. Well, that's Tara has a question. Sorry. That I was going to ask you.
I think I'm on a delay. So I'm like, hey, over here, me. Okay. Yeah.
You with the bow tie. Jump in.
Well,
bow tie.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to ask about some of the new stuff you have coming out this year. Again, we did our research and we know you got 2 movies coming out. Is that correct? One for A Sisterly Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think the other one is Miracle in Motor City.
You know what? That is the title. And thank you for doing your research on that, because I did not know what the new working title was, because it wasn't called that when I filmed it. I think I was on another interview like last week and I was like, I don't know what the title is right now. So I cannot tell you what it is. When we filmed it, it was called Christmas in Detroit. Which I think already is a movie that exists. And then it was going to be called like A Motown Christmas. And now I guess it's Miracles in Motor City.
They just went through all the Christmas / Detroit combinations. And,
yeah, basically.
I like Miracle Motor City.
I'm very excited for those to come out. They're both with Black casts, which is rare and amazing. Got to work with some incredible talent. And yeah, they're like a little bit different than your typical Hallmark Christmas movie of guy meets girl. They're forced to work together. And yeah, it's just like a little bit different from the regular formula. And so I'm very excited about that. It's very refreshing. There's a lot of like, culture injected into it. And yeah, I love to do something different. So very excited.
Well, there is a trailer out for A Sisterly Christmas. I didn't see one yet for Miracle Motor City, but it looks like and that's one of the things I liked. It's like 2 sisters almost having to like go rekindle their sisterly love and go on this trip. But from what I can see in the trailer, you kind of the sort of the bitchy, snobby rival, like you and your husband are like, didn't your mother ever teach you how to bake from scratch? Like, yeah, you're going to be causing some trouble. And you're going to maybe help them bond by being the enemy of the sisters, from what I
absolutely. So
tell.
they're coming to this like winter resort place, and that's like my turf. Like I've been going there for years and years and years, and then they show up, and we have a whole history and a whole backstory, and I just do everything in my power to make them look bad, embarrass them. It was so much fun to play.
I was going to say, I bet that was fun being
oh my gosh.
Sort of not villain, but kind of villain.
I love a villain. I love a villain. Yeah, very exciting for it to come out, because I don't think anyone's ever like seen me in that kind of role before. We had a lot of fun, maybe too much. And actually a lot of it was improvised too.
Oh, really?
A lot of my moments, my diva moments were improvised. So I'm really excited to see what made the cut. We had a lot of fun with that.
Well, it looks really cute. The trailer looked really fun, and that's on OWN. And then the other one, Miracle Motor City, is a Lifetime movie.
Yes.
Looks like.
Nice.
So,
yeah.
And neither one of them had I don't think either one of them had an actual date that they're coming out. But this season, keep an eye out, because I
heard the Miracles Motor City was American Thanksgiving, like that weekend.
Okay.
Unofficially, that's just what I heard through the grapevine. But I did get to meet Smokey Robinson.
How was that?
That was really cool. He told me that I had the most beautiful eyes in the entire world. And
Smokey doesn't lie.
I was like, Smokey, stop it. I was like, but you have beautiful eyes. Like, what do you, I was like, Smokey, stop. He was so sweet and so kind. And it was really amazing to watch him perform acting, because I think this was his first acting job.
Really?
Oh, wow.
If not one of his first. So it was really amazing to see him like in his element, but also kind of out of his element a little bit. And like watching a legend up there and then doing what you do. And it was just, he was so cute.
Oh, was he playing himself or is he playing an
Mhm.
actual whole new character?
Oh,
He's playing
cool.
himself. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Wow.
Which
that's
I
fun.
must have been kind of weird. Like somebody wrote a script and put words in my mouth
Yeah.
as me. I wonder if he had any say in the script.
I
don't
bet
think
Smokey
so.
Robinson could, if Smokey Robinson said, I'm going to change this, they'd probably like,
Yeah.
all right, Mr. Robinson,
They're like,
whatever
yes,
you
sir,
feel
yes,
like
sir,
you
right
would
away,
say. Whatever you
Whatever you
want,
want.
Mr. Robinson. Just glad you're here.
Yeah, so that was really exciting. I was like, I love my job. I like that I get to meet musical legends and, you know, people that I grew
Yeah.
up watching Sister Sister with Tia,
Yeah.
and then I got to work with her every day, and I was like,
Same.
what is my life? This is insane.
So cool.
Yeah. Every day I'm just like, I can't believe this is my job. I'm so lucky.
Yeah, I feel like acting is it's those moments like I'm hanging out with Smokey Robinson one day, and then you might get a job the next day, and you're like lying in mud when it's 30 degrees, and you're doing some scene where you're just like, and it's raining. You're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I could have had a
What?
cushy office gig, but it's like the highs and the lows, but it all works out to be a fun ride.
Yeah, we're here for all of it.
Well, Kyana, we can't thank you enough. We've had such a great time talking with you. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Would love that.
Before you go,
On one
we
note,
have a
Kyana, my
we have a-
poorly shaved, just got her head
I
newly
love
shorn.
her.
She got a
looks good.
very unfortunate haircut. But anyway,
I think she looks beautiful.
she's my
Hey.
hot mess, little
Aw.
Gidget. She has
Oh
to
my
walk
gosh.
off right now. Gidget,
Gidget,
Yeah.
you were beautiful in all your forms.
she owns it. She
Mhm.
owns it.
All your forms.
All your forms.
Are either of your cats available for a quick cameo?
Yes. Give me one moment. I will
Please,
see
take
who's
your-
available.
I'm
Take
gonna
your
go
time.
get one of mine.
Everybody
Yeah.
grab the cat.
I don't have a cat.
You are a cat. Come on, Gidget. Come
Not
up
as
here.
much fun.
Come here, baby girl. Come here. Oh.
Gidget's like, no,
It's like I'm not sharing the screen with anybody.
I'm not your monkey.
Aren't you though, Gidget? And now it's just us. So what do you want to talk about, Cat?
So anyways,
How should we
Wendy,
fill the air?
I don't know. How are you doing? I thought this went very well.
So,
Yeah.
Oh,
does like to be
Tinkerbell.
held, but here she is.
Oh, hi,
Beautiful.
sweetie.
Say hi,
Gorgeous
girl.
cat.
Oh my goodness.
Hi.
How old are they?
7.
7. Hi,
And my
pretty
husband
lady.
is coming in with
They're
Simba.
7 years old.
7 years old.
Oh
This
my
little girl.
goodness.
Oh.
She's beautiful.
Hi, girl.
Gorgeous. Oh, there's Duncan.
Oh,
He's joined the
cats
party.
are coming in.
Oh, hey.
Simba and my husband
Simba.
Nana.
Hi.
Hey, how
Nice
are
to
you?
meet
Nice to
you.
see
Hi.
you.
Oh my goodness.
What a family. Look at that. Beautiful family. Very cool. Thank
I'm
you.
so
Thanks
Nice
for
to meet you.
thanks for
Duncan.
delivering Simba.
I'm so sorry that is it cat you don't have a cat.
I don't have a cat. My wife is allergic, so we have 2 dogs.
Well,
But
you know
I'm a
what?
cat-
I'm
I'm a
also
cat
allergic,
person.
so that sounds like an excuse to me.
Oh.
Can you call my
Oh,
wife?
Absolutely.
Great.
You know,
She's also Torontonian, so maybe you can speak some sort of, Torontonian
I'm on
magic
it.
to
Listen,
her.
love
Okay.
doesn't know allergies. It doesn't recognize allergies.
I love all
So-
this.
Kiana, I'm
Love
using
is
that
there, it's worth
phrase when next time I hear that from a person that wants to return a cat for allergies, I'm going to use that line. Love doesn't know
Feel
allergies.
free to quote me anytime.
Simba looks thrilled.
Simba.
He was like waving.
Should we get a
Unless your
picture with
throat's
the
gonna close?
Should we get a picture with the cats before they revolt? Yeah.
All right,
gonna
there we
I
go.
won't be able to hold Tinkerbell because she'll squirm away, but definitely for Simba.
It's all good.
Gidget left. She didn't want to share the
Okay.
screen. All right, here we go. Stand by for a picture with kitties.
Donkey.
In 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Oh, look
So
at him.
good.
Oh, there goes Tinkerbell.
Oh, Simba. Oh, there's Tinkerbell.
She's
She's
so
making
good.
So
Appearance.
beautiful.
They're not supposed
Good
to be in this
job.
room, so she's very
All
right,
Oh,
Duncan.
no.
Oh.
Oh, that's your
She's like,
cat-free
let me
room.
just get comfortable by the window. Since give her an
Here
inch,
now.
she'll take a mile.
This is our house. This is our room now.
Well, thank you guys. This was so much
Thank
fun.
you.
Yeah.
We had a blast.
I absolutely loved it. It's great talking to people. Anybody?
We'd love to have you back.
Are y'all pretty-
Anytime.
Yes.
Yeah. Are y'all pretty
Yeah.
locked down there in Canada right now? Is it pretty restrictive?
Not anymore. We definitely
good.
were in lockdown the longest of anybody in the world. So
Mhm.
things are open now again. Still obviously masks everywhere. And I think on Monday they're starting the vaccine passport. I think
Yeah, I
they're
heard about
calling it. I
that.
think that goes into effect Monday, which is also when we have a federal election.
Oh,
Oh, there's a lot
So
going on.
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Mm.
Especially now that like school has started and we're going into fall. I'm not predicting any more lockdowns, but even if there is, thank God, knock on wood, the film industry is protected. We've been
Mhm.
able to operate as an essential industry throughout. So
Ooh.
again, so grateful for my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
Good
Good
all.
having you.
Had a
We will have you
wonderful
back.
time.
Nice to meet you.
That's a promise.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
I
here.
think
I'll
about.
hold you
Oh,
to it.
yes. Or Simba. Is that Simba?
Simba.
That's Simba.
Oh, Simba. Bye, Simba. Nice to meet you.
And here's Tinkerbell. Hey, girl.
Oh,
Hey, girl.
what a
Yeah.
ham.
So cute. Sorry we ruined your
Oh,
cat-free
right.
room.
Oh, that's okay. It was
Aw.
worth it. Right, girl? Okay.
Aw.
No. Hey, Tinkerbell, good job.
Gotta have her
All right.
cameo. All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
You as well. Take care.
You too.
You too. Nice meeting you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Delightful. You're right.
See,
Wendy,
did I
delight-
lie? I did
Delightful.
not. She's very, and again, I just want to emphasize her podcast is very cool. It's very good, positive advice for people in that, or in life. Follow your dreams.
It's true. It applies to almost anything,
Yeah.
like you have to swing big, right? You got to take big risks to get big rewards. So do that.
I feel like things are going to be, I feel like she's been doing this for a little while, but I feel like she's going to continue you're going to see a lot more of her.
I hope so. Tara,
Yeah,
what
she
did
is.
Tara, what did you think?
Thanks for asking, Kat. I thought she was great. I really enjoyed her. I did. No, I'm just being a hole because I'm on delay and I didn't get to be as funny as I wanted to be.
Oh, no.
So
We know you're funny though. We know
I
you're
had to
funny.
hold some of my fun jokes back. That's fine. No, though you have to pity me. That's fine. But no, I had a lot of fun. I'm sure in real time it was fun too for you
boy.
guys. So
It was actually.
No, she was great. She was really great. And
no,
but we did.
She's awesome.
Yes.
And
Tara.
I hope she goes to Klexicon at some point.
Oh yeah,
That would
she
be fun.
should.
Oh, that would
Mhm.
be cool. We should have brought that up. That'd be
Yeah, we
fun.
probably should have.
I know. God.
But I feel like we have no control over whether or not that happens. So, and she's Canada. I don't know what the traveling things are to do it, like for this year, but maybe in the future. We can see her at a convention somewhere along the line. Things are still a little dicey out there, as we know.
It's true.
But I did feel like I forgot. We did mention her cat's Instagram, and they are adorable. So you should go there. But Kyana also has an Instagram account that we neglected to mention, and that is Kyana.Teresa. And there's also a link there to a website, which is it's like Linktree / So just go to her Instagram page where everybody goes anyway. And there's a link there to another website where you can find some more things. She has a Facebook group, it looks like, for the Intuitive Actor Collective. You can link to her podcast, IMDb. She's got a few links on there for different things. And her Twitter is at Kyana Teresa. So you can follow her. You can, she likes to live tweet. Maybe she'll live tweet some of her upcoming Christmas movies and just keep in touch. She's a cool person.
She is great.
And she has cats, as we pointed out.
Well, if you liked this interview with Kyana, you could subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. That would be great. Please do that.
Or you can go to our Twitter at Snot Podcast with 1D.
Or you can go to Instagram at She Nerds Out Podcast or Facebook at She Nerds Out Podcast.
And
Or
if
you can write us.
You can write us at shenerdsOut@gmail.com. You can go to our website, shenerdsOut.com, where you can find all things Snop, including our merch store. Check that out.
All righty. You've got all the details now.
Yeah.
Now you just got to follow up.
Do it.
Sorry, I thought I heard someone come in my house. Anyway.
Oh my God.
A little concerning. It's probably a cat bumping into a door.
Lock the door, Wendy.
It is locked. God. Anyway, you go lock your doors now. Because on that note, we're going to wrap up by saying she Nerds.
Out.
Out.
She nerds out. We're girls that like nerdy things. Nerdy things.
Okay, that wasn't too bad.
Out. Was I with you guys out?
Yeah,
It-
sure. You
It
were right
was
there.
staggered. We
No.
each had a moment.
Oh. Okay.
It was perfect.
Out.